Welcome to We Are the People. It's been a long time that I sit down with someone when he was helping people of Queens County, especially in East Elmhurst area, with all of his capacity, quality, honesty, integrity, and most of all, his love was all over, his touch was all over in Queens. Sometimes luck push people in one way or other. Sometimes people have to take one step back, reassess their life, and then put themselves together and come back and start working for the people again. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jacob Milton. In early 90s, I met a gentleman, and that gentleman, like born for a public service. Once I saw him for the first time, I saw this is the guy who should run for public office. U.S. Marine, NYPD police officer, student of law school. Unfortunately, didn't finish his school, jumped to the public service, ran for city council, got elected, did fantastic. I was so proud of him when he was city council member. Then he went against the institution's choice, ran for state senate. As I says, something happened. Weather was bad. Gentleman did his best for his own survival, and I think he did pretty good. Why I says he did pretty good? Because he is moving towards the same place to conquer his position. He's gonna claim his old position. And this time, make no mistake, he will never fall down again. Thank God. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm asking you to meet one of the gentlemen. Proudly, I call him the brother of Bangladeshi community. Former city council member, Hiram Monserrate. Brother Monserrate, welcome to the show.
Jacob, it's been a few years. It's great to be back on your show. I remember being on your shows in the past. It's great to see the public again and talk to you and have an opportunity to reacquaint myself. Thank you for having me on your show, and I look forward to a great interview.
Brother Hiram, everybody from Bangladeshi, Indian, and Pakistani community, they love to call you Brother Hiram instead of just calling Hiram. Yes. What did you do, like when you are meeting them or in their personal life? It seems like everybody has your touch. What is the secret that everyone loves to call you Brother Hiram?
Well, I had a very intimate relationship with the Indo-Pakistani Bengali community for many years, going back to junior high school.
Okay.
Where I originally lived in Jamaica, Queens.
Wow.
Now it's a very large Bengali community. And I went to Jamaica High School. So growing up, I grew up in an environment where there was a lot of teens and friends that were from Bangladesh and Pakistan also. Not too many Indian, but a few Sikhs too.
Yeah.
And so I always grew close to the community. I love the food. As you know,
of course you do.
I am a foodie, ladies and gentlemen. And I love my halal meats and biryani and chicken tikka and tandoori and naan bread and, it's just the samosas, everything. So that was part of the entree. But also, throughout the years, I worked closely with a lot of the houses of worship, the masjids that are all over Corona and East Elmhurst and Elmhurst too, the one on Britain Avenue, the one on National Street, the one on 95th Street. I live next door to the Madina Masjid on 89th
Wow.
Street. Right there. It was a very large community there. So for many years, I've been close with them in that capacity. But also, I was very supportive of the festivals. We had one in the Dutch Kills area of Queens for many years. I would always help get the permits.
Yep.
I worked with the Bangladeshi Society. I worked with the Jalalabad organization.
Association.
Many groups. In fact, now, 10 years later, people, when I'm knocking on their doors, tell me where they saw me. They used to see me at the old restaurant called Dhaka
Yep.
The old restaurant called Roti Boti.
Yep.
Kebab King. So there's a certain familiarity that I have had, and I've worked on their communities. Look, when I was in the city council, I was one of the first politicians to call for halal meals in public schools.
Public school.
And to ensure that during Eid Mubarak and other holiday, there will be no testing, big high stakes testing. So the relationship is for many years. My good friend Monserrate, who I have supported politically over the years, a trailblazer for this community, Bengali community, because he was the first one to run for office, and he did a very strong job. So greetings to Monserrate and to all my brothers and sisters from the community.
One thing you just mentioned, do you know every community, they try to take their people on their back and move forward. You are one of the pioneers in Queens County. When you are looking at community, you showed your responsibility that, okay, you occupied the public office, at the same time, you try to bring your community people, push them up, go to the next level. You always did. I remember you went to a Bangladesh Engineering Institute's meeting, and at that meeting says, immigration community deserve a mayoral position. So someone should run for mayor. On that meeting, you says, I remember, don't you think a guy from a Latino community is running for city council and he has the right to get elected to become New York City mayor? Lots of people applaud you. Long time, Bangladeshi community is involved with this country's politics. Lots of people are running as a Democrat. Most of the immigrants are. You are the first person who back up Moshe Dalam from the beginning to the end. I salute the guy, Mr. Moshe Dalam.
Right.
He was the first guy.
Pioneer.
You pushed him. It's not only Moshe Dalam. You also pushed the father of Congresswoman, Grace Mann.
That's correct. Yeah.
And when John C. Liu refused to endorse him, but you did.
Yeah.
What was in your mind that instead of you are supporting your community regardless, on the other hand, still you are trying to help Bangladeshi community to create a leader. In a Chinese community, push someone to become a leader. What was in your mind?
And his daughter is today the congresswoman.
Congresswoman. Yeah. Tell me, what was in your mind?
Well, that was in the early 2000s. Jimmy Mang at the time came to me and asked me for support, that he was running for the assembly. And I understood that it was a majority Asian community. And unfortunately, sometimes the political establishment, they want to manipulate so much that they want to overlook that there's a large majority in the community that needs to be incorporated. They need to be part of the process. So I endorsed him and I supported him the first time. He lost by 100 votes.
My God.
And 2 years later, we ran again. He ran again, and we supported him strongly. I had my colleague at the time, Margarita Lopez, who was a councilwoman in the Lower East Side. She also came to support him. And it really mattered to me very little what anyone else said, to be honest with you. I have a long history of being very strong-minded and independent. I can make decisions that I believe are best for the community. And I thought it would be the right thing for someone from the Asian community to represent Flushing. I think his common sense, you walk into Flushing, it's majority Asian. So it only serves to logic that the representation should be equal to the people who are living there who are impacted. This is what democracy is about. In my community, I was the first Latino elected in 2000 to district leader, in 2001 to the city council. Then I helped Jose Peralta become the assembly member. Then I helped Julissa Ferreras become the council member to replace me. I became a senator. I had a downfall. And after the downfall over the last few years, I have slowly rebuilt our political community. And this year we have many candidates running for party positions, not because anyone's looking to make a salary or make a political deal, but we're trying to incorporate people who live in the community, who represent large numbers of the community so that they can be part of the process. And I think that's what democracy should be about. Unfortunately, we have seen over the years how certain power brokers try to dominate politics and look more at politics as a business than what it should be.
It looks like.
Representing people and the interests of people. Even now in East Elmhurst and Corona, the state legislature and the Port Authority wants to put an air train literally right through our community in the 114th Street corridor area on Northern Boulevard, Astoria Boulevard, and literally behind the backyards of homeowners on Ditmars Boulevard. It's outrageous that they should even plan this when they could easily do a route that doesn't impact residents. We see this time and time again in our community. Homeless shelters that are hotels that were converted into one-room apartments. They're putting families in this. A hotel room is not a home.
Home, exactly.
And this is a misguided policy. So, and I see how the local representation is not standing up. They're not pushing back. They're not advocating. So one thing that the community gets with me is advocacy. And I will stand up for this community all the time. And so when I see the Bengali community, the Pakistani community, the larger Asian community, and I see how disenfranchised they have been and continue to be, I want to support their leadership so that they can rise. I was at a Bengali event, I think it's 57th Street in Woodside.
Okay.
Near 37th Avenue, there's a center there. And I remember seeing, this is about 7, 8 years ago, young people, young kids, children. And while I was speaking, I said, there's no reason why one of these young children soon should be a council member or an assembly member or a state senator or even one day representing us in the United States Congress. That's what America should be about. And the power brokers that try to stop that or impede that are morally bankrupt, in my opinion.
I'll ask you one very unpopular question. A person like you who think that the way you define democracy, that every single person has the right to come forward with their quality and qualification and represent the public. But that's not the way sometimes parties leadership or establishment leadership want that way. We saw it very often. I'll give you an example. For the last 20 years, there was a Queens County Democratic Party's chairman running the way Democratic Party in Queens County. He handpicked people, whether they're qualified or not. He demonized people who is not supporting their candidacy or something. And guess what? Very few legitimate candidate or leadership grown in a Queens County.
That's right.
If Democratic Party has this type of leadership in Queens County, how leadership will grow?
Well, I think that's an important point, right? What we saw here in Queens was over the years atrocious. A lot of weak leadership that was established that were basically rubber stamps for the developers to come into the borough of Queens and build, and nothing for the people that lived here, nothing for working class or even low-income people. If you look around in the borough of Queens, the amount of development that we've had in the last 5, 10 years, how much of it is for the people who have lived here?
Wow.
People who grew up in Jamaica, in my area, people who grew up in East Elmhurst and Corona, can no longer afford to live in their homes. And the government has done nothing to respond to that, except for exacerbate or accelerate gentrification in certain areas. These are very, very important issues. And it goes right back to the fact that we have had party bosses who have enriched themselves, have enriched their families for millions of dollars. The same people who point a finger at me for my mistakes and my errors have done 100 times worse over the years. And we saw that finally the people in the borough of Queens took action. And we saw a historic race on June 26th of this year where Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez was elected,
right,
defeating Joseph Crowley, who had been in office almost 20 years, and defeated the machine. And I think that what we have now is an opportunity for communities to stand up and have a reorganization. But I want to say something which is very important. The machine needs to change. There should not be a machine. There should be a collective of people. But even within the machine and those folks who have been party board, there are people who have tremendous things to offer as far as how things function. The problem is if they only function for a small few and only a small few people enrich themselves and the community gets next to nothing, then the system is bad and is broken, in need of tremendous overhaul. And I think that's going to happen now this year. I think there'll be a change of leadership and hopefully Queens will go in a better direction. On the national stage, we saw it Even in the last presidential race, I supported Hillary Clinton. But the fact of the matter was that the machine was behind her. And they orchestrated things like superdelegates and pushing party bosses and endorsements against Bernie Sanders, who clearly had real grassroots support from the community. So what I'm saying is there has to be a role where our party leadership understands and incorporates new community, new movement, grassroots progressives, and brings them in as opposed to trying to keep them out and control.
Don't you think you are saying that machine or establishment leadership should be changed, but same Joe Crowley already become district leader from Astoria, unopposed. And I believe he did that just to hold the chairmanship of the Democratic Party in Queens County. How that leadership is going to change? Because he's going to, right now, he's not a congressman. He may not get that many phone calls from the DC, but he's going to play his old dirty tricks to make money sitting down as a chairman of the Democratic Party in Queens County. Yeah. How are you going to stop it?
I don't think that it would be prudent for the organization to attempt to keep Joe Crowley, only because I think that the loss really indicates a greater distance between what they have wanted to do and what the community wants. So sometimes change, even though we don't want it, we have to accept it and we have to go with it. And I think that they are intelligent men, even though I don't agree with many of the things that they can do it, who can analyze and figure that out. The key for the party from here to the future is who do they pick as the new leader, right, and what is the new process that's put in place so that there is not continually a view that a small group of people are controlling the party, controlling the organization, and the masses who are increasingly people of color, Latino, South Asians, LGBT, and all these communities that have been disenfranchised who are now clamoring for, a real role in the process are not left out. And that at times in politics is not easy, but clearly necessary.
Brother Hiram, I have one important question. The community, Latino community, Bangladeshi and South Asian community, they're really grateful to you. You not only provided a great leadership in the community when you were holding a public office, you did your best to bring a result. You are a very result-oriented individual. You promised whatever, you tried to deliver it. Now, whatever incident happened in my personal life, your personal life, Joe Crowley's personal life, anybody's personal life, you tried to overcome everything and still you took the right path and going to the right direction. Now, you become an easy target for new breed, those who are getting little bit of support from that establishment. Mm-hmm. It's like everybody tried to stampede you on your shoulder. It's an easy target. I'm not asking you, this is not a moral question, but question is, how do you feel the people who stood up? You helped them to stood up in front of the people. Right now, they try to put their feet on your shoulder and try to push you down. What is your mental condition that when you are looking at those people that you made them a leader right now, they target you, they're easy target to rise to the power?
It's unfortunate. Yeah, I've seen it in this election, particularly one of the Senate candidates in the 13th that she's running, and an assembly candidate also in the Assembly District 39, who have on different occasions chosen to attack me. I've done nothing to either one of them. And I believe that they have this false conception that by attacking someone, you get more votes. I think a part of that is political immaturity and a lack of real conscience. No one's perfect. They're not perfect. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. We've all made mistakes, and we have had situations in our life that we regret. But if you want to serve the public and the community, lay out what you're going to do. Do something. In that case, I don't think either one of them have done one single thing in the community that they're running for that they can point to and say, I have done this, I have done that. Zero, both of them. And unfortunately, what you see is, in the context of politics, that candidates prefer attacking and trying to make a target of other people who might be easy targets, like you just said, as opposed to really promoting a good platform that will actually help the community. And I think that's where you have a big disconnect. And I think part of that is also eventually learning. Look, politics has taken a very bad turn in our country. I mean, look who we have as president. President is someone, unfortunately, who's very disrespectful, who is abrasive, antagonistic, and is just not a good person. And I think that unfortunately, even on the Democratic side, on the left, we see some of that also. Disrespect, disregard, no rules. Unfortunately, that's what has occurred. I hope it changes. But I wish no one any ill will. I wish that all the candidates do the best they can. I wish well for them, and I wish well for their families. I don't wish bad on anyone. And ultimately, the people will decide. I'm running a race this year.
Yes, you do.
I'm running for Democratic District Leader.
Yep.
And this year, the people in Corona and East Elmhurst have a decision to make. And that will be if they would like me to serve them as the next district leader. I'd love to have their votes. To my brothers and sisters in the South Asian community, Bengalis, Pakistani Indians, and so forth, thank you. I ask for your vote this September 13th. This year, the election is on a Thursday, and which is different from the norm. On Thursday, the 13th, I ask you to come out and vote. Please don't forget to vote at the bottom of the ballot. You'll see my name. You'll see the name of Sonia Harvey, my running mate for district leader, David Aiken, and Patricia Suero for state committee. I would love, and we would love to have your support.
And last thing I'll say, that I have never seen you for the last couple of years since you came back to the community and try to organize yourself and move forward, bad-mouthing anyone. Right. You try to help anyone and everyone, whoever came in front of you. You never look back, you never do anything. Julissa Ferrara left New York. Now, have a couple of people. Yeah, I never even heard that you say something negative about Julissa. You never say any negative of any individual. It's really painful, especially painful for your well-wishers. I'm not gonna say on a television interview that Hiram, you're my brother. That it's make me feel sad personally. On the other hand, it's really shameful that some people think that bad-mouthing Hiram is going to bring a couple of more votes. Yeah. No one knows who they are. They're new to the community. They did nothing for the community as of today other than just doing a lip service. Right. But right now they're thinking, oh gosh, if we badmouth Hiram, probably there will be a couple of more votes. Right. Those are nothing but shameless, selfish individuals, those who are doing those things. Brother Hiram, not from this show, personally and my organization, We Are the People, we always were your well-wishers from the back, and you always give us your support. And on this election, this Thursday, our organization, this show, We Are the People, we are going to, through this show, we are endorsing him, and I'm going to ask all of the followers of this organization on this Thursday, coming Thursday, go to the polling booth and look for the name, Hiram Monserrate. And please, go out. Don't sit down and say, okay, do you know what? Hiram is going to win anyway. Don't think this way. If you need any help, to go to the polling booth. If you need help, even transportation, reach out to me. Reach out to my telephone number that I'm going to show it on my television screen. Call us. We're going to help you out. Brother Hiram, you want to say something last, please?
Well, in closing, I just want to thank everyone who's watching the show. For giving me the opportunity to serve you over the past years. I ask you to give me that opportunity one more time. I will do well. I am stronger, wiser, and more tenacious. I look to have your support this Thursday, September 13th, in the Democratic primary for district leader. I thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's our show today. My name is Jacob Milton. Again, there will be people next to you, those who are listening or watching this TV program. Please, it's not only you, your friend, your family, your neighbor, everyone can help this candidate. And Hiram Monserrate is not just a candidate for an office. This is the candidate for the immigration community, immigrant community. I can claim very in a fair mind that he is a candidate, could be Bangladeshi, public official, Indian, Pakistani, South Asian, everybody he is representing. And every time this community need a public official next to them, I saw in the past, for the last 20, 30 years, Hiram Monserrate was always there. And I have every single reason to believe that Hiram Monserrate will be one of the finest public officials in the county of Queens. Thanks for watching us. I'll see you next time.